When we think of Christmas, the first image that likely comes to mind is that of a brightly lit tree, carefully wrapped presents, and the welcoming smile of Santa Claus. Yet, behind the twinkling lights and the magic of the season, there lies a dark tale that few dare to tell, a secret hidden in the shadows of Christmas night. We're talking about a sinister partnership between two figures who, at first glance, seem to have nothing in common: Santa Claus and Krampus. Yes, you heard that correctly. The same jolly old man who delivers gifts to good boys and girls might have an alliance with Krampus, the Christmas demon, a terrifying creature that punishes bad behavior. It's hard to believe, but this dark partnership has deep roots in ancient traditions where Christmas wasn't just a celebration of joy, but also a time of judgment, reward, and punishment. Krampus, the dreaded figure of alpine folklore, is not a solitary being. Though known as the Christmas demon tasked with punishing naughty children, few realize that he has an unlikely ally: Santa Claus. In Christian tradition, St. Nicholas is revered for his generosity and kindness. However, in older versions of the story, particularly in the remote areas of Central Europe, he has a curious connection to Krampus. In fact, in some cultures, St. Nicholas and Krampus are seen as two sides of the same coin. While St. Nicholas hands out presents to those who have been good throughout the year, Krampus, his dark counterpart, takes naughty children to the underworld where they face punishment. Together they maintain the moral balance of Christmas, embodying a dynamic of reward and punishment that harkens back to an ancestral need to enforce discipline during the festive season. This alliance between good and evil reflects the duality of life, the constant struggle between light and darkness, where justice requires both reward and retribution. This partnership became more explicitly recognized during a specific event, Krampusnacht or Krampus Night, celebrated on December 5th, the eve of St. Nicholas Day. On this night, villages in the remote regions of Austria, Germany, and Hungary transform. Children lock themselves indoors, fearing what the night might bring. Santa Claus, known for his kindness and generosity, in this version is not merely the bearer of gifts, but also a figure who walks alongside Krampus, observing who is worthy of joy and who deserves punishment. Good children receive sweets, but the naughty ones face a far darker fate. While Santa distributes gifts, Krampus, with his chains and menacing presence, drags disobedient children to a cold, dark hell. The sound of Krampus's chains and the jingling bells on Santa's boots echo through the snowy streets, creating an atmosphere of terror. Some claim to have seen, amidst the night's fog, the tall, distorted figures of Krampus with his twisted horns and glowing red eyes, alongside Santa Claus, wearing an enigmatic smile. The image is both terrifying and intriguing. And Santa's smile? Is it one of compassion or of a dark conspiracy? In this darker version, Santa Claus is not the jolly, plump old man traveling the world with a sleigh pulled by fluffy reindeer. He is described as a man in a red cloak stained with soot, with a laugh that sends shivers down your spine, a piercing gaze and an expression that could be either kind or cruel. Instead of a sack full of toys, his sack carries something far darker: the souls of children who have lost their faith in Christmas. He is the guardian of a tradition that demands obedience and respect, and when that is broken, he does not hesitate to deliver the offenders into Krampus's clutches. But there's more to this arrangement: Santa's behavior. While his public image is one of kindness, he may have grown tired of being seen solely as the symbol of joy. In some theories, Santa, in a moment of weakness or even desperation, made a pact with Krampus to share the burden of deciding who deserves joy and who deserves punishment. Together, they embody a divided Christmas, a balance between light and darkness, where even Santa's smile, typically associated with happiness, might conceal a sinister truth. During Krampusnacht, fear grips the towns. Parades are held where men and women dress as Krampus and a shadowy version of Santa Claus, with pale faces and fierce stares. These figures roam the streets, haunting the residents, while bells ring in the background, heightening the atmosphere of dread. Children hide, fearing what might happen if they've been disobedient. Adults keep their doors locked, trying to protect their families, while in the distance, Krampus's chains make the ground tremble. In some of these villages, old stories claim that entire families disappeared on Krampusnacht, taken by Krampus and Santa Claus, never to be seen again. Villages that dared to defy Christmas traditions faced even darker fates, with their inhabitants taken to a place where Christmas no longer existed. Because of this, many residents in the most traditional regions still leave offerings at their doors on this night, hoping to appease the wrath of the two. While some dismiss these tales as mere folklore or myths, they carry an important message. Christmas, far from being just a celebration, is also a rite of passage, a pact between good and evil. Santa's kindness is closely tied to Krampus's punishment. One cannot exist without the other, as together they represent the balance needed to maintain order. They are two sides of the same coin, the visible and hidden faces of Christmas. Some scholars suggest that Krampus and Santa Claus are manifestations of the same entity, with one side bringing joy and the other punishing in silence. Others believe that Santa, weary of his role as the eternal giver, struck a deal with Krampus so that together they could decide who truly deserves to celebrate Christmas. They serve as a reminder that in our choices, there are always consequences, good or bad. This duality is what makes the story of Krampus and Santa Claus so fascinating and terrifying. What began as a simple celebration of kindness evolved into a story of judgment, choices, and consequences. Could it be that Santa Claus and Krampus are, at their core, two faces of the same being? Or does Christmas hide an even darker truth than we can imagine? So before you go to sleep on Christmas Eve, think carefully about your actions. Have you been good enough this year? If Santa Claus and Krampus were watching your choices, would you deserve to be rewarded or punished? The lingering question is, are we truly prepared for what Christmas might hide? Remember, this is not just a story. The spirit of Krampus and Santa Claus might be closer than you think. And if you don't follow the rules, perhaps it's not too late to change your path and ensure that your destiny this night is joy and not the underworld. So, before moving on, make sure to subscribe to the channel. After all, if Santa and Krampus are watching, are you doing enough to secure your place on the nice list? Leave your comment, share this video, and brace yourself for what's to come. See you in the next video. If you survive until then, happy Krampusnacht or not.